And welcome back to the basement.
Huh. Yeah! Yes! Yes! Yes!
I'm going to turn him down a little bit.
We'll start with a letter.
Okay.
I was yelling.
Let's start with a letter.
We're sponsored by the letter A.
From Stephen Gordon.
Who's that?
Oh, yeah, Stephen Gordon.
Who writes,
Stevie?
while working out, I took my daughter's advice and downloaded the Geek Show.
While he was working out?
Don't know if I can stand another show. Who is that tard who constantly screams in the background?
Is that me?
Will we get to Superman? Ah, he writes. We'll get to the Superman TV show. Ah!
Oh, that's me. He's talking about me.
Then he would scream the last word of the sentence spoken by another host. And he seems to think that everything is so much funnier when you scream your
Wow.
Finally, he got Merlin Olsen mixed up with Marlon Perkins.
Right, what a terrible crime.
I know. Thor Almighty, can you put him down?
Wow.
Oh, Shannon.
What's his name?
Stephen Gordon.
Stephen Gordon. First of all, let me apologize. That was an issue I was very, very,
very adamant.
very excited about. And I'd also like to apologize for my stupid comments that I make. And I would also like to invite you to suck.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And Stephen Gordon, I also would like to ask you to get a last name. Please.
He's got two first names.
And have fun working out. I hope you trip on your elliptical and break your.
How did such a douche get such
I don't know who listens to this show. I see, yeah.
You're
we kid because we love.
I don't. I hate that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
I thought Shannon was sincere at the very first of his apology.
He hates
I was.
Shannon and he works
Very
out.
down.
That whole thing was very sincere.
That's why he's evil.
Especially the end part.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess I'm just going to go because I ruined the show.
No, it's just for Steven. For everyone else, you do a fine job.
Well,
No, seriously.
Humorless douche.
Tony to just edit you out of this episode.
No.
And just can listen to it.
Guys,
we'll call it the Stephen Gordon cut.
Yeah.
Through the power of PC laptops, we've actually developed technology that allows you to hold your iPod at a certain angle to just cancel out whatever host you don't want to listen to.
That's
So
pretty good.
Shannon's angle's about 2 o'clock. If you just hold your iPod at 2 o'clock, you will not hear Shannon. If you hold your iPod straight down and in a glass of whiskey, you won't hear me.
Oh.
So just remember.
Or if you stick it down your throat, you can't hear Scott Pierce breathing.
Oh.
Right. And for Jimmy, you have to hold it. For Jimmy, you have to hold the iPod right about here on your hand, and you have to move it in and out of your mouth. Repetitively.
But you have to cup the battery.
You have to cup the battery.
Cup the
case.
battery.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know why.
Guys,
we
that
work
kind
out.
of sounded like innuendo.
A little bit.
And remember, they're D-cell batteries.
Yeah.
In your endo.
God, I feel so happy for the people that sponsor this.
Maybe we should introduce the panel first. We'll introduce the panel.
We'll call that a
cleanser.
buffer.
Good
Palate
segue.
cleanser. We'll introduce the panel first, and then we'll thank our sponsors. And okay, here we go. Jeff Weiss, film critic to the world.
MSN's Parallel Universe.
Jimmy finally responded to my text.
I did it with my mind, apparently.
Apparently. All right.
Good job, Jeff.
Good job, Charles.
Stay out of my head, Charles. Jeff Weiss, film critic to the world. And he's got this new X-Men thing. We'll talk about that coming up on Parallel Universe.
Meet the X-Men.
The X-Men. Meet the X-Men. Oh, sorry, Steven.
You can talk
They're
about
a modern mutant family.
You can talk about Cyclops. He's the best.
And
Cyclops. It's kind of mopey.
He's the lamest of the...
lamest X in history.
Yay!
That's where I thought you were going to go. Jimmy Martin, who is married to Jeff Weiss, apparently.
It's a fickle.
Yay! They have their Green Lantern rings.
And Tony and I are quite...
Very angry.
The two true Green Lantern fans at the table are upset that the non-Green Lantern fans have their Green Lantern rings.
They're not Green Lantern rings. They're our wedding rings.
And they're flaunting them like bags.
If they're not here for the next episode, it's because we killed them and took their rings.
Okay.
I'll eat it first.
JimmyMartinSlugMag.com, and of course you can see both of their bright, shiny faces on the Big Movie Mouth Off, now in HD.
Yay,
HD! On Comcast Utah On Demand, Channel 1 Utah On Demand, SLC Alternative, where you can also see this show.
Jeff also reviews movies Thursday mornings on Radio from Hell in the 9 o'clock hour. That's all
I've heard
ask.
that show.
I think I've heard that.
And I'm on U92 on Friday mornings.
With Poetic C.
Poetic C.
Poetic
Good
C?
guy.
What?
He's a good guy.
The guy's awesome. I like him.
I'm no
Good guy.
longer on any radio station.
No, you got out of radio because you were smart.
That ship was sinking.
Yes, Lee George Cade.
I have my own ring. I found it on the table.
Oh, the Batman ring.
It doesn't fit my finger.
Lee George Cade, Grimleys.com. You can get stuff from him.
Anything you want. We'll also be at the Salt Lake Downtown Farmers Market starting this
Oh, you did
this
get it?
Saturday. We got in.
You're in the market?
We're in the market.
So very lucrative gift.
We're going to have hundreds of thousands of dogs and the people that are attached to them coming past our booth every week.
Can my dog play with these
No,
things that you've worked with?
Do you have any free samples?
You know what you should do? You should really mess with people and like knit some potatoes and stuff.
We have potatoes.
Oh, they're gonna eat
We
them.
have a whole line of produce.
He does.
They're gonna eat them.
Yeah,
He has
evil
vegetables.
produce.
Lee, can I fill these Grimleys with Ethiopian food?
Your yarn carrots gave me diarrhea.
No, what we're gonna get is, and we get this at Craft Sabbath, where the homeless people come up and tell us how we can make our Grimleys better. These would be a lot better if you could sleep in them, or perhaps use them to hold money or beer. But what we're gonna have is the hippies at the farmers market coming up and said these would be a lot better if they were made of maybe hemp.
And then you'll have the NPR types coming up and going, are these recyclable? Or
Yes, they are.
Can I order a
Were these made
Grimleys
locally?
onesie? I want
We
a
were-
Grimleys onesie.
We were thinking about making a line of Grimleys tampons, but they're just not going anywhere.
Oh dear.
Oh, you could bring those to pub quiz.
For at least half the teams.
Speaking of pub quiz,
I thought I was going to say tampons. but-
Shannon Barneson
Tard.
was off for the summer. English,
2.5 days.
School teacher, and also the master of pub quiz.
One of the masters.
One of the masters.
Pubmeister.
Co-master.
Yeah, that's right.
Down
And
here,
apparently a screaming tard.
Tart
So the best kind.
I don't know if everyone knows this, but June is been officially declared as Gay Pride Month.
Yay!
By the whole month by President Obama.
I can get behind that.
That
And,
that
Did he
Kenyan
really?
socialist bastard.
Indeed, he did. And so, in honor of that, Greg 3PO Johnson is here as the only officially openly gay man in this room.
Shut up, Carrie.
Okay.
So Greg's joined us, and of
I'll
course,
do it when I'm ready.
course,
Shannon's really only gay after a couple of drinks.
That's right. It's not gay if you're friends.
That's when it comes out.
Practice it for chicks, dude.
I heard
Practice
it's
it for
not gay.
chicks.
I heard it's not gay if you shout "no homo" while you're doing it.
Oh yeah, whatever you do.
yeah.
Isn't that right? I don't know. We'll have
You can have
Or Slayer.
sex. Slayer. You can have sex with a guy in the Pottery Barn as long as you yell "no homo." It's okay.
Why are you laughing? I've done that.
You didn't yell "no homo" though, did you?
No.
You were screaming "totally homo."
You tricked me!
Come to the dark side.
We have cookies.
Yeah, the guy that he's having sex was like, "What?
No, you
You
said!
said this was a no homo event."
Take your old looking phone and get out.
You have another toaster oven.
Is it made of hemp? Let's see. Too Tall Tony, the designated driver of the. He's doing. There you go, ladies.
How's it going?
On Comcast? There you
Wow, that was
It
seductive.
gets creepier every week.
Seriously,
That's my goal.
you're seconds away from hard candy. There, you know.
Hi.
Now, usually I tard yell your name, but I'm refraining.
go.
Miss it.
But you're not single anymore, though.
No,
right?
I'm not single.
Oh, okay.
I have
Well,
a girlfriend.
but there you go. You're taunting the audience with that look, and
The smolder.
Now, Tony, you're pretty LDS, right?
Yes.
So you're doing a little soaking?
No. I'm not sure I know what you're referring to.
turn
all
up, turn
about
up, turn up his mic a little bit more. What
Yeah,
is
he's
it?
not going to yell.
Soaking.
Soaking, because I know what hovering is.
Yeah.
What's hovering?
Is that
Well,
like floating?
Marinating.
It's like marinating.
Oh,
I've
is it?
heard of
There's marinating.
Soaking and marinating is the same thing.
I've heard of floating.
Floating. That's
Yeah.
it.
Is
I
that-
call
is
that
that the
Is
same
hovering.
that
thing?
the same thing?
Now, this will be good for Greg because it's an instructional thing.
Oh, okay.
It's the good religious people.
Right.
No, they're not very good if they're doing that.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They can't have sex, right?
No.
So marinating is where you're lying on top of each other naked, right? And the guy
Are
has
you wearing
his,
your garments?
That
No.
would not equal naked.
Yeah, you're not naked.
No, I don't know these things.
and the guy has his rod down right.
Otherwise
close.
called
His
known as
rod
the
of righteousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got his
Staff of Raw.
His semen scepter.
Moses' staff.
let's call it the staff of Ra. I like
Okay.
that. He's got his staff of Ra down in the
Ark.
down in the what's
The Ark of the Covenant.
What's
The Well of Souls.
The Well of Souls.
Yeah.
There you go.
okay.
The
He's
Master's Chambers.
and it's just right there, but it's not actually in the Well of Souls, right?
No, I thought it was actually in.
Isn't
I
it?
heard it was
Marinating
in.
is in.
Yeah, marinating
In the Well of
and
Souls.
soaking.
If there's penetration, it's sex.
No, but
douche
he's not
nozzles.
That's-
moving.
But they're not
Doesn't
moving. They're
matter.
just like,
He's not moving and
Matters.
he's not ejaculating.
Did
It's
he
just-
put it in
It's just-
there?
and how would you do that?
Insertion is penetration.
Exactly.
Penetration is sex.
That's what I said the first time I heard it.
But
I was
that's
like,
but
Lee,
that's
Lee, these are religious people. Logic doesn't
it
work.
doesn't work on them.
Okay.
If
But
there's
then-
no spit, you must
Look at you.
quit.
Exactly. But then there's what's the other one? Not marinating, but
Floating.
which is what I was describing.
Yeah, floating is when you're in and just not doing anything.
Right, that's
from what I
marinating
understood.
and
So we're all
it's
talking about the same
it's all the
thing.
same thing, just different names.
We're talking about boring
and,
sex.
and just like Lee said, it's all sex.
Right.
Well, how could you?
You've landed
penetration.
your jet on the airstrip. What?
I knew a very popular
but you're
girl.
not parking it.
I knew
No
a very
parking.
popular girl who swore she kept her virtue because she only did.
Well, there's lots of.
Oh, yeah.
girls
She
who
was
would
the
do
most
that.
popular butt. But seriously, that did not make her a virtuous person.
No.
Just because it wasn't going in the vag doesn't mean that she wasn't promiscuous.
Of course it does.
And you know who I blame? Bill Clinton.
Yes.
All right.
Right.
You know,
God,
we
him and his cigars.
Maybe we should wait to introduce the
can't introduce the
Second
panels
segment.
until the end.
How about them
Second
X-Men?
segment.
I thought I'd segue.
Pay no attention to the man behind the camera, Brian Young.
Ignore
Great
it.
It is bigshinyrobot.com.
Hey, suck! That's my gig, the tar
No,
heel.
I,
you're
I wanted to
taking
get
his
in
job.
on that.
You're taking his gerb.
I don't know. I want to be a screaming tart this episode. Kerry Jackson.
Floating and marinating. I'm writing this down.
That's very important.
All right,
Yes.
because it may be the title of the show. I don't know. New episode is both floating and marinating.
Marinate your
I
brain on
like
this.
Yep. All right. Yes. Hi. How you doing? X96.com. Monday through Friday, 6 to 10. I used to be a team player. All right.
There you go.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll thank the.
Don't marinate on my parade, please.
We'll thank the sponsors coming up
Okay. After.
in a moment.
I heard Sting invented marinating.
Is that right?
Yeah, but it took him 9 hours.
I heard he can marinate for hours.
It's so weird. I just can't imagine being able to do that.
It-
Just be
it-
like, all
I
right.
marinate.
I hear it. I hear
Plays
he
his
kills-
lute for a while and then he marinates.
They actually
he
had
marinates
a,
and plays his didgeridoo.
they had an SNL skit a couple weeks back where Sting killed a dragon by spooging on it for hours.
Wow. He can do
there was
anything.
there was a dragon attacking London, and they mobilized the Knights of the Realm, and it turned out they were trying to get it taken care of before Sting showed up and ruined everything. And then he showed up and spooged all over the dragon, and it died.
He really can do anything.
Yeah.
By the
What
way,
Stephen Gordon must think of this episode.
Yes. By the way, I would like to point out that this is just the first episode.
Oh, okay.
Well,
then
our drink sponsor, Greg, brought blueberry vodka.
blueberry vodka.
Somebody's going to take a nap.
Blueberry vodka is.
I'm not drunk.
Is that a nap or a drunken stupor?
We're going to wind up calling his wife.
Call
at
his
some
wife
point.
again. We don't know what he can eat because he's a
Sunflower
vegan.
seeds
He's a
and-
vegan who can't eat gluten and
Bring his dust pellets.
He can't have any
Sawdust.
H2O in his food.
There's some
So-
mulch out in the flower
there's some-
garden.
You guys
We'll
make
him a
my
salad.
diet so interesting.
Let's chop up Carrie's corkboard. He can eat that.
Oh, okay.
We need you to bring a bag of sand up here, stat. He's really drunk and he needs to eat something.
All right. Let's Gordon. Let's begin with.
I can just see Stephen Gordon on his elliptical, just like running, like, oh. like this is motivation for his punishment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get soap up.
But he's like, I'm gonna look so good in these hot pants.
Well,
Asshole.
Let's go to another complainer.
Oh, good. I love them. as you
Line
can tell.
two.
This one will.
Oh.
Although if you go to Brian's Facebook, you'll find the thread.
Oh, for
Okay, let's begin here. This is I've just called it sad, just sad. X-Men movie pre-hate.
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 Is that like pre-lube?
This is someone who has not heard any reviews. Is only basing this on the trailer. Okay. So this is X-Men movie pre-hate.
Scott Pierce's brain just blew up.
And I found this on Brian's Facebook page, and I joined in the conversation. Suffice to say, this is why GeekShowPodcast.com does not have a forum anymore.
No.
Okay?
No, because you broke it.
I
oh,
broke
no,
it.
I broke it.
You broke it, I killed it.
I started it.
All right. Here we go.
The breaking.
I'm going to pass on this movie, X-Men First Class. I'm going to pass on this movie and wait for it to go to DVD.
Yes, read it in comic book guy's voice, please.
The fact that they completely rewrote the lore of the comics does nothing to sell me on this movie.
Did he see the other X-Men movies?
Or the Spider-Man movies.
The only one I'm interested in is Kevin Bacon, and unfortunately he is completely miscast as Sebastian Shaw.
Is he?
Care to comment, anyone?
No,
Clearly, he
well,
hasn't seen
Kevin
it.
Bacon's just
continue.
fine.
Let's hear all
I-
this genius's arguments.
But then he goes on to talk about how the movie does not, it breaks the laws of physics.
How?
Whoa!
Hold it now.
This was my favorite.
Now, was it what he was saying that it's the whole fire?
When Sebastian Shaw is absorbing one of the afterwards, his clothes weren't tattered at all.
They weren't.
What?
You know
They're not in
what?
the comics
Because they're made out of
You
unstable
know-
molecule. Asshole.
You know what else breaks the laws of physics? A dude absorbing and exploding.
Okay, there's that.
Yeah, I
A dude who
remember-
takes a shot and turns into a giant blue cat.
I think every
There you
mutant.
By
And-
this
and-
rash, there's not supposed to be sound in space.
And you can't curve light into a lightsaber form.
Because how would it stop at the end? It would continue on indefinitely for it is a light.
Well, and see, these are just a few examples, which I didn't bother pointing out. I wrote back to him saying, you know, if you're this upset about this sort of thing, you must be just generally, as a person, very unhappy. It's not Stephen Gordon. I want to
Okay.
point that out. This is
He
not
just-
Stephen Gordon.
Oh, he just hates me.
By the way, if you read a Spider-Man comic, guess what? His fingers probably don't have the tensile strength to actually hold his body on the
Yeah.
side of a building, you ass.
Okay, so
okay.
so here's what he continues.
as ruby quartz.
Well, I'm very happy. And while I don't go nerd often, I do think some things,
Often, really?
I think
such
some things.
such as Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson walking dry out of an underwater scene in Phantom Menace, or clothes not burning, I don't know, in a fiery explosion, to detract from the enjoyment of movies.
Wow.
Of a water scene dry?
No, they didn't actually. When they came through the force field in Otagunga, they were soaking wet, and they
I
were
thought so.
dry after the bongo excursion.
Well,
when they
I'm
arrived
often
at-
dry
Yes.
after a bongo.
Well, they use
Yeah.
the force to dry themselves.
Yes.
Right.
or something.
And coincidentally, Brian was not completely dry at that point.
It's true.
I was excited.
He was
Lights-
moist.
This lightsaber's also a hair dryer.
So then he goes on. And yeah, I totally expect this movie to be a flaming pile of feces when it's all said and done. As for movies, I own over 1,500 DVDs,
Oh, that makes you awesome.
And
Yeah,
he
he's
hates
an
them
authority.
all.
Yeah.
so I tend to know quite a huge volume about good movies, or you just like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't mean
And there's
anything.
a part in every one of these films that makes me very angry.
like Beethoven's Fourth.
So I wrote back, so in your vast movie collection, all of them follow the laws of physics?
Every
Clearly,
single
clearly.
He writes
one.
back, oh dear God, no. But when fire stops burning, that kind of stands out in a viewer's mind. I don't watch Ingrid Pitt movies for the plot.
Ingrid Pitt.
Who's
that?
You
What's
watched
that?
Ingrid Pitt was a star of multiple
Hammer movies.
horror from.
She had
including-
giant boobs.
Yeah. There's a great one called Vampire Lovers where she bites lots of other chicks.
Yeah, and then blood runs down her breasts.
Yeah.
Okay, so here
Do her boobs defy the laws of physics? Is that what we're getting at?
Possibly.
Sanity.
he continues. As for X-Men First Class, given that most, if not all, of the cast of the original trilogy gave an affirmative decline on cameos. What's an affirmative decline?
They weren't asked.
Anyway, on cameos, I can't see it being a big hit.
They weren't asked.
Right.
Yeah.
They even said flat out Hugh Jackman was ready to do Wolverine, and they just said no, we're not going to detract
no,
from
no,
the
no,
movie.
no. Let me just say this right now.
Yeah.
Remind me, the X-Men movies were made in the 2000s, and this is set in the 60s. So to have them do cameos would
wouldn't make any
violate
sense.
continuity.
Well,
Jackass.
well, Wolverine could do it.
You could have one Wolverine cameo.
Any
Let's be
cameos that
nice.
were in that movie were wholly appropriate.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because we have seen it, and the cameos that are in there
Yes.
work.
Plural.
Work.
Plural.
So,
They're actual
Carrie.
cameos.
So, Carrie, did you like Thor? And he put Thor in parentheses, right?
Are you?
I said, well, yeah, even though Thor himself defies the laws of physics, you know.
Because he's so hot.
That was kind of a bummer. I could buy all that stuff, but sheesh, the fires that were burning in space with no air, that kind of bothered me. Kind of took me out of the movie. Then he writes back, but admit it, Anthony Hopkins equals Odin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
he was-
what I saw.
I thought he was
Awesome, a great job.
Like, why
I think
not?
I think it's the first time Anthony Hopkins looks like he's been awake in a movie in a long time.
Well, and that's true.
During those sleeping scenes.
yeah, even in the sleeping scene, he was
Didn't
more active
he,
about it than it was in Right.
He said in an interview that that's the first time he's actually tried in a movie in the last few years. That Kenneth Branagh pulled it out of him.
Somebody who wanted to direct him
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
Yeah,
called.
he wasn't playing Hannibal Lecter again in another movie.
Yeah.
He then goes on, when a producer has to dump a ton of money for a Hugh Peter Allen show me the jazz hands Jackman to utter 3 words in a cameo just to validate to the fans of the original trilogy, it's grabbing for attention.
Why are we giving this guy any more time? Let's
I just want to sum these
I-
summing up right now.
that's- yeah.
So there's that. So I ended the conversation. I said, "Look, I'm
As
done.
you do.
I'm
You
done.
slept with
I
his
do
wife.
that. Later.
Look at me, I'm defying physics right here.
So here's what I said. I finished it. I said, "Look, I'm done with this thread. So just let me leave you with this." There's an old saying between comedy writers, and I think it applies to everyone who enjoys any form of entertainment. If you buy the premise, you buy the bit. I buy the premise of a blue kitty man flying a jet plane he invented with 1960s tech. So the rest, I'm there having fun. Just repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax. And this is why I have no forum on Geek Show Podcast.
Absolutely. And I have 2 points to make. One are 4 words. There's a term known as willing suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to suspend your disbelief if you're going to go into anything fictional.
It's a goddamn
The-
superhero
The
movie.
second thing
what I
I would
don't
like to
get.
say is nerds like this are why chicks nerds. guess what, jackass? It's called find one and put your sometime.
And don't soak, bro.
Or
Don't
not.
soak.
Don't soak.
Do it.
So
Floating.
all the way in.
Go full ramrod.
There
pal.
is
Jesus, seriously.
12-step program though, and that's usually like
Well,
steps
but-
11 and 12.
And here's the thing is that I know this guy, he's happily married and all that. He's just a little uptight. But this kind of attitude, let's not talk about this guy specifically. This kind of attitude is pervasive. And
Absolutely.
it's something that this show has fought against since the beginning. You've got to calm down.
But the
I
best
mean,
part is we still buy into it every once in a while. I
It's-
mean, we're
absolutely.
even guilty of it from time to time.
But we're not going to let it ruin everything.
no.
Because the
So-
things that he's bitching about,
Yeah.
they're just little
They're
things.
nitpicky.
They're
Jimmy,
so-
Jimmy and I are professional critics. And we're not making crybaby complaints.
There's nothing wrong with being passionate.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
fine. But also emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, who walks into a superhero movie going, "This not going to happen"?
Man,
I'm sorry.
If one thing
Well-
is unrealistic, I'm done.
How can that guy teleport?
And see, I will start. Yeah,
No,
I
it's
will
the laws of
start.
physics.
I will start with the first complaint he made, which was it ruined the continuity of the comics was thrown out. Hey, guess what, asshole? You're one of the few people who know that. The rest of the people in the world who are seeing it don't know and don't care.
And I'll tell you, I sit there and I look at that line of a character. And when they first announced it, I was like, what the hell? You know what I mean? I was like, none of that makes any sense. Right? So at first I was a little bugged. And then I was like, you know what? What's his name? Matthew Vaughn?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
He's
He's given us some good
directing
movies.
it.
yeah.
And he's a great director. And then I was like, oh, Kevin Bacon's playing the bad guy in it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, that kid from the UK version of Skins is playing Hank McCoy.
Nicholas Holt.
Yeah, he's a good little actor, you know? And I was like, all right, January Jones doesn't have big play. What's her face?
Well,
Emma
and,
Frost.
yes,
You know?
and let me admit that one of my big complaints actually against X-Men First Class is January Jones is
But
terrible.
the more I saw the
she's not in
trailers
it
and
enough.
stuff, I was like, this looks like a good movie, and I'm
Yeah,
not
but,
going to let that
but
shit
Halle
bother me.
Berry's best moment in any of the X-Men movies is probably worse than anything that's in this.
No,
Halle,
no,
Halle Berry-
no,
Halle
no.
Berry's
Halle-
so awful. but-
Halle
no,
Berry-
January Jones is worse.
Halle Berry makes January Jones makes Halle Berry look like Shakespeare.
Yes,
Well, but what I'm
she
saying-
is
let's
god-awful.
look at X3. They actually made Storm the second main character in that storyline, and she's such a god awful actress, and just everything involving Storm she shouldn't have even been. a focus in the.
It should have been. It should have been Whoopi Goldberg.
Didn't she demand that because she had
Yes.
won an Oscar?
Yeah,
And,
But
for Monsters
But
Ball.
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making an X-Men movie,
right.
But-
But she was horrible.
If
Yeah.
I were to, like this guy, let these little things bother me about this movie,
You couldn't enjoy
I
X2?
wouldn't have enjoyed it.
How does it? I just want to know
know?
how this lives. He must wake up in the morning and go, God, it's warm, but it could be warmer.
The
But
problem.
see, I could say with this movie, January Jones was terrible. Sometimes the Beast makeup looks kind of phony. I could
Put
sit,
up your dukes.
I
Put
could
up
sit
your
and-
dukes.
Yeah, I could sit and do this forever. But you know what? I saw that in the movie. It still did not detract from my enjoyment. I had a great time with this.
Would you rather have something that's technically correct on everything, have them spend all of their time making every little detail sink in, and have a shitty plot that's not fun?
Exactly.
That's called
Yeah.
a science film.
This is actually a really fun experience as a critic for me, because this is the first time for a film marketing wise. I walk into this movie, my expectations were on the ground.
Yeah.
Because I thought the trailer was boring. Because those posters, my God, were the worst things I've ever seen in my
were pretty
entire
bad.
life. And like the stills that came out were they
dreadful.
apologized for it. So when
Yeah.
you start apologizing for something that's coming out, I'm like, let me decide. So when I went in there, I was like, whatever, let's try it. But I was still hopeful. I wasn't like, I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate it. And this is a suck.
I'll show them.
There's so many people that are doing that. Like Patty was telling me, some guy at work, and she works at a defense contractor, so they're all nerds and engineers, was like, I don't want to see it. And I don't care if you think you've heard that it was good. It's sacrilegious.
Yeah,
That-
see,
Sacrilegious?
It's
What's
sacrilegious that
the
the
continuity?
lineup of this first class isn't the original lineup of the X-Men.
Wait.
Exactly. See,
The,
this is what
the
I'm
first
talking
three
about.
movies threw that all out the window
Right, of
anyway.
course they did.
And I got another 2 words for anybody that thinks that. Alternate reality. There you go.
Well, it doesn't matter. The
Star
first
Trek
movie,
did it.
Rogue was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants to begin with. Kitty Pryde being a secondary character until the third movie. There was Nightcrawler not part of the original team, even if they had just started with. Let's stop bitching about lineups. Because
Where's Warbird?
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with guys like that is like a comic book and a movie are so different, especially when the comic series was started, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
What was good
Right.
back then is not going to be good right now.
Well, and
it's
it's just I really kind of if you're that kind of a geek, I just
yeah.
Well,
Well, I was taken, like I said, I was taken aback at first. I was like, that makes no sense. But then, like I said, I saw more and I heard more about it. I was like,
would have loved to see a first class movie with the first 5 mutants. I would have
Absolutely.
loved to see
Sure.
that. That would have been great.
it
But
would
you
have
know
been
what?
cool too.
Yeah.
But,
So let's
ship
let's
has
see
sailed.
something different.
9
Yeah.
times out of 10, I don't want a direct interpretation from a comic book. You're making a movie, make
Exactly.
it different. If I wanted a comic book, I'd read the
Go
comic
read
book.
it.
unless, okay,
And just wait, but hang on. When you do a comic book style movie, you end up with Forever and Batman and Robin.
okay, that, sir, is coming from someone who does not read comic books.
Who,
Okay,
me?
yes.
No, I used to read comic books a lot,
no,
buddy.
No, well, you stopped.
Well, I stopped,
What,
but I
when you
used
were
to read 'em.
6 then?
No.
Because that pisses me off. And that's like the Hollywood interpretation
up now.
of a comic book style movie. They think comic
But
books
that's what you're
are
gonna get.
big and colorful and stupid and ridiculous, right?
Well, that's
some
because-
of them are. If you make a ambush bug movie,
Right.
it's going to be
Awesome.
Dick
awesome
Tracy.
and ridiculous. Or
Dick
Dick
to
Tracy. But a comic book style movie does not mean stupid. I'm sorry. I got
a lot of
Calm.
pre-1980s comic books were stupid
Right.
and big and colorful like that. But then you hit the 80s and they got a lot more mature, a lot darker.
What I was going to
know.
say, you cannot do a direct interpretation of something that's been around. For example, Captain America.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been around since what, 1940?
40.
41.
1941. So you can't do, there's like 900 bazillion issues of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do, let's say, The Dark Knight Returns, it'll be
That better be.
Better be dark.
better be
Yeah,
dark and it
exactly.
better follow really close.
Well,
Because it's a self-contained
But,
story.
but all that being said, because we've got to wrap up this segment, I really enjoyed X-Men First Class. I'm
gonna
putting
go see it.
I'm putting it in my top 5 superhero movies.
Oh,
list.
wow.
That's high
Honestly,
praise.
I'm
I-
seeing it tonight.
I think
I'm
it looks
stoked.
neat.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like
It's
it
fun.
more. I like it more than Jeff. Jeff liked it, but didn't,
Didn't love it.
it.
Right.
Jimmy,
I'm on. I 3.5 stars. What I gave it. There's very little that's wrong with that movie. I think.
Well, there's apparently there's a problem with the physics.
It was the
Clearly,
teleportation.
Clearly.
I mean, the guy shoots beams out of his chest. That's not real.
can't do that.
That's Alex Summers.
X-Men-
Cock knob.
First Class has been one of those movies for me. Like, not often do I go to the movies and have a movie work on me in my brain and stick with me for a long time.
Yeah.
And X-Men has done that. In fact, I was sitting this morning going, I kind of wish I wasn't seeing this movie. I kind of wish I was seeing X-Men again.
When I walked out, I wanted to be like a roller coaster and just get right back in the line and go right back on it again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
That's-
really enjoyed it.
That's the first time
and
I've
see,
ever heard
Brian,
you say that.
I wish I were in line to see the other movie rather than X-Men.
Really?
Yep.
Can we review that on the next episode?
Absolutely.
But not the next segment.
Yep.
All right. They're talking about Super.
Super
8.
Yeah,
Super
but
8.
Oh, I was
remember
gonna
what I was
say,
saying?
what
I
movie?
do not want to. The thing is,
Okay.
What thing?
Oh, you'll
In
give,
Super 8?
I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah,
you're talking
we won't
about.
tell you.
you'll give a spoiler free.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, there we go. We got to finish this segment. I got to go up and beat my dog.
Don't do
what has it been barking?
It's just been barking the entire time. She knows better. Oh, God. Hang
Uh-oh.
PETA, just calm down.
He's gonna go kill that dog, PETA.
PETA, I get enough of your hate mail. I'm just kidding.
Do you get hate mail from PETA?
Oh, all the time. All the
Really?
time. All the time. Yeah,
what?
they still don't like me because of
Duck liver.
Foie
blah.
gras.
because of our foie gras.
Is that why?
I see that vegan guy around every once in a while that want to fight me because of it.
Yeah.
Is that why?
You,
that-
you mean the one that I got temporarily banned from Coffee Garden?
He gets pets named PETA and then eats them.
We had PETA was doing a movement here in town to
No, it
to
wasn't
ban foie
PETA. It
gras.
was those vegan
Oh,
douchers.
it wasn't even PETA. It was-
God, can we separate vegans from
I'm sorry.
from PETA?
I'm sorry. honey.
I mean,
Carry-
seriously, I'm a vegan, and I think PETA's too extreme. So you
Yeah.
know, it's kind of like saying that
I'm-
fundamental Christians make Christians.
all right.
yeah,
so-
these were pedophiles.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are different. But they were trying to get foie gras banned from the Metropolitan downtown, and I said on the radio, I said, not only am I going down there at this time at this day to have it right in the big window, but Jeff and Shannon are coming with me, and they're going to have it. And they were down there protesting with signs, and one of them had a sign that says, "I'm here because of you guys," and But then as we're on our way out,
Those
this-
were delicious sliders,
They
by
were
the way.
good. On the way out, this big one decided he was going
Well,
to
he's not. He wasn't big. He was vegan, dude.
Yeah, he was just at. Yeah.
punched
was-
right through that.
Big for a vegan.
Yeah, he was
I'm big for a vegan. I
I'll
must
say-
be the biggest
I
vegan
know.
on the fucking.
Giant vegan.
This guy looked like powder trying to look tough.
He was transparent, and there were broccoli running through his veins.
You should just tie steak to your hands and go after him.
He was the biggest one there out of all of them that were shivering and shivering and the wind was blowing them down. But he
Because
decided
they weren't wearing fur.
And he walks up to me and he's like, "You," and I was like,
Really?
"Really, dude?"
really.
Oh, so
Are
you
we
met,
gonna do
you met-
this?
You met
You know?
one of the straight edge vegans.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
one of-
And he wears a hat that says "vegan."
But I love just the way that Shannon just took the wind right out of his sails with it, because he comes in and goes, "Did you like that?" Or something
No,
like
he
that.
called me. No, he
Was
said,
it?
"You like? How was that?"
How was that?
And I went, "Well, really?"
Well, he did.
And I was just like, I didn't stick it in my ass.
Greg's here. Watch it.
Well, you know.
No, he just he
I mean,
He knows
it was beautiful. No, it was
Not like you're going to
beautiful.
give me any new ideas.
oh, I'm trying that.
It was beautiful the way that Shannon handled it. It was beautiful because he did this whole. He put his palms up like a, and he goes, "Really?" And really, the guy had nothing to say after that.
And I was like, "Are we going to do this? Are we going to?
Really?
Are we really going to for the metro?"
Really?
Okay.
And the guy kind of backed down, but that's I just love the way he just took the wind out.
I actually got two of those vegans to feel really bad about 6 months after that.
Really?
Yeah, I explained what their actions were doing, how they were actually portraying the community. Because as a vegan, I feel like we have an opportunity for compassionate education, but not through guilt trips. You lead by example. You try to maybe spark some interest here and there, not necessarily in the whole vegan thing, but maybe in cutting down on meat consumption and animal consumption and whatever else. But by standing in front of a company that's doing something like foie gras or whatever, you're not just making a presence. You're not just maybe educating some people. You're being a nuisance. You're being a douchebag. You're making people like me who actually want to maybe do some of this so-called missionary work on the sly harder. But you're also endangering jobs. And so they turn around and say, "Oh, well, you're destroying lives." but the majority of people don't get that.
Yes.
The
it
99%
makes me
of
wanna-
people who aren't vegan don't get it.
I'm just going to say this. Lee George Cade, you're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Because that shit.
Well,
I wanted to eat a live goose right in front of him.
Absolutely. And this is coming from someone. I was vegetarian for 5 years.
yeah.
They made me eat meat.
They made
Thank you, you
they made you eat
assholes.
foie gras.
Yeah,
The
you
meanest of
assholes. Good
meat.
job, assholes.
I want a
It's pretty
burger
good
right
too.
now.
I'd never eat it again. It was pretty
I want to
good.
eat a steak now.
We were on that show the other week, and some guy emailed in, and he's like, we were talking about comic books, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm PETA, and I love vegans, and I love comic books because the Punisher is an inspiration, and it makes me want to kill people
Who eat meat.
Who eat meat.
Yeah, he wanted to create a vegan Punisher.
Yeah.
Wow.
The doucheinator.
You got to remember this was, the public radio station, so it was.
Well, and
Well,
again,
I hope
to
the
their,
ink is made with vegetable oil.
to their mindset, you're committing murder by killing these animals, but that's not the majority of the public's mindset, and that may be your mindset. But that's the great thing about living where we're at is you can have that mindset. But the second you start talking about killing people,
Yeah.
or one lady I know who actually got sent to jail because she was going and liberating livestock,
Yeah.
with their wire
When
cutter,
you
you're still
And what's that cabinet-
breaking the law.
When you violate the law or someone else's rights,
Yeah.
then you cross
that's
the
not
line.
educating anybody.
Well,
that's being an extremist, or perhaps
Exactly.
even.
I look at it this way, and that is, same thing with religion. Keep it off of my porch. Just keep it off of my porch.
See you later,
All right.
Cal.
that'd be
Good luck with that bear.
That'd be the greatest Punisher, though, when he punches people would just say soy and gluten, tofu.
And then he has to take a nap because he's got no protein in his diet.
That's such a misconception.
He has to take his supplements before he goes out in the morning.
The majority, the vegans, and maybe that's what you were dealing with the vegans who don't understand that they still need to eat food. And I've known some that do that. They stop eating meat and they just stop eating. They're
I just can't live on bean burritos all
yeah,
day.
Taco Bell will put you in the ground, but you still get your protein. You still need your food.
All right, we got to take a
Idiots.
break. All right, so after these messages, we'll be
right back with
Hard!